100 Club in London. I think it has, yeah. I'm still going through quite a lot of challenges, and I think that when you go through something quite heartbreaking, it doesn't heal very quickly. So you know, it takes time. But I feel positive, and I feel really positive about this year. And I also, like, one of my friends died last year, so when that happened, it really shook me up about everything that had gone on. And sometimes changes are very painful, but they're for the best. And the only really bad thing that happened last year was my friend died, you know, and it really made me realise, like, oh wow, you know, I've been saying all this stuff is really, really difficult, and it is difficult, but in the future it will be better for my future. Whereas, yeah, and I think she was such a grounded, amazing person that she just was really inspired me to live this year like with a really positive attitude. And I think that I've got amazing fans, and I've been like touring like crazy. The record's come out, which is like so cool for me because it's my favourite album that I've ever made, and I'm really proud of it. And I've been on tour like, yeah, for ages, and just coming face to face with all these people that are the reason that I'm still able to do this is so nice to meet people and thank them, you know, for supporting me as an artist. It's really cool. Sheffield was really awesome because we had our first ever girl gang stage invasion, and everyone was going crazy and just like jumping around us in Underestimate the Girl, and like it was so fun. And after that, basically, there's just been like more and more stage invasions, and in Underestimate the Girl it's become a thing now for like girls and boys, but like loads of girls seem to like, it's like a real release for them, and they sort of, I can see them giving these like really cheeky looks, and I can tell they really want to do it, and I just have to be like, yeah, you can do it. Run on stage. The cap's going back on now. But that was my favourite because it was the first time that happened, and yeah, it makes me really happy. In America, we stayed in some of the worst hotels I've ever stayed in my life. There was a super motel that was particularly disgusting, like pubic hairs and mysterious stains everywhere. And we all went to bed. It was like me and Linda and Helen. And I remember you were all like, you know, and you're like, I don't even want to sit down. Like, I don't want to even wash my hands in the water. It doesn't make my hands feel clean. And it sort of felt like it was just really dirty, because you get used to being a bit grotty on the road, you know, in dressing rooms all the time, and you do stay in like cheap, crappy hotels sometimes when you're trying on a budget, so you get used to it. But this one was like too much grime for all of us, and yeah, I think there were tears before bedtime. I don't know. One morning, Helen got food poisoning, and we woke up to her like being sick, like in the room, and I got sick in Sainsbury's recently. Why am I telling you sick stories? I don't know, this isn't very good stories. I just keep talking about being sick if I keep it was like, I think it's been stress. I've been really stressed out, and my body's reacting in quite physical ways, I think, to stress now, because I'm trying to like suppress it emotionally. Yeah, it is really hard actually. And it's weird because I'm like, I've done it to myself, and I really love the songs, and I think there'll be a transitional period where it stops becoming like hard to do it. Yeah, I'm hoping anyway. But I think it's worth doing it like regardless, because it's just really important to be honest, and it does help me have a release of all this stress. Like every single day I address, like, you know, no one can say that I run away from my problems, so I'm like addressing them every night on stage, which is quite intense. But yeah, I think back to stuff like songs that I've written about people before, or things that have happened before in my life, and I don't always relate them back to that same scenario. So it's something I wrote, you know, like off the first record, I can relate it to my life now in some way, so we'll see how that goes. For the video, I worked with Aaron Rappaport on a movie called Syrup, which actually comes out tomorrow, just found out. And we just hit it off, you know, we were hanging out in my friend's kitchen and just talking, and he was like, oh, I really want to shoot your music videos when you're out here making the album, and I was like, that'd be wicked. And so I just sent him a bunch of treatments. I made like mood boards out of lots of different images, and then had quite clear visions of what I wanted, so I sent them over to him, and we just went back and forth. And then when I was in the mansion and recording in LA, he would he'd just come and hang out quite a lot, and we shot them straight after recording, so it was awesome. And all the extras are fans as well. We just like tweeted and they just came, and they look so amazing too. Like some of them were so cool. All of them were so cool. It was actually on the beach. I was in Mexico and I was on the beach, and sort of in this weird like turmoil situation of like having this beautiful surroundings and just having a terrible time. And so I wrote this song like secretly, like on the beach, and then weird like, because I didn't have any instruments or anything with me. I just managed to, it was just really strong, and I wrote all the lyrics down in my diary, and then as soon as I got back, I was back for like a couple of days, I think, and then just went straight. I remember it was like, I made the demo the day that I went to a festival or something that night, so I got the CD burnt, and we were listening to it in the car on the way to the festival, and I was like, oh, really. My favourite pizza topping is just cheese. I think if it's not broke, then don't fix it. I always feel sorry for teachers now, because I can really imagine how terrible it must be, like, with horrible children being mean to you all the time. There was one that was quite, she really just didn't seem to enjoy it at all, and seemed to like hate children. And not in a cool way, because there was one teacher that like was really scary, and everyone was like, oh, she used to be in the army, you know, and it was like scary ones that like gives everyone detention, and double detention, and had like funny little sayings, but she was so strict you never messed with her, but you respected her. But there was this other one who I just felt was actually kind of evil and really didn't actually like children at all. I mean, I think it's very silly, really, because I understand where it comes from. I do understand. I think there's extremists in everything in life, you know? It's like thinking that, I don't know, every rock star is a drug addict. I mean, they aren't necessarily. Or that like every football fan is a hooligan. Or that every religious person is, I don't know, every Christian is homophobic. You know, like it's wrong to think that like a group of people made up of lots of different types of people are all extremists and have turned that into something negative. But then human beings do that sometimes with all those examples. It's like, if someone is going to be not a cool person, it doesn't matter whether they're like religious or not religious, feminist or not feminist. It's like they're going to find a way of being not very nice about something, unhappy with themselves. So I think that that's where it gets a bad name from. Is like people, feminism, like people would say it's like makes you a sexist or anti-men, and but that's not at the core of feminism. Maybe there are some people that don't like men out there. Maybe I'm one of them. No, I'm kidding. I've got to stop making really weird jokes. I think that if you care about women, then you're a feminist. And if you respect women, then you're a feminist. And if you want women to have any equal opportunities and to have a great life, that they've made choices about their life that on their own terms, and you know, from a comfortable, happy place, then you know you're a feminist. And I've just been working in like with Plan USA in Africa and stuff, and that's quite obviously very different to my life. And being exposed to some quite heavy issues has really made me think, God, people that sort of say like sexism doesn't exist or feminism is like, we don't need it or we've come a long way. I just think, how ignorant are you? How uneducated are you? I've had someone say that to me before in like, on like a serious like news show, like, oh well, you've come a long way. And now thinking back, I'm like, did you not read the newspapers? Do you not know anything about the world and how different things are for women and girls, and how differently we are judged, and how in certain areas of the world, especially in like developing countries, there are some really, really extreme things, like extremely horrible things happening to girls, and yeah, it shocks me when people say that it's not relevant. It really does actually shock me now that I've really experienced it firsthand too. It's quite shocking. But yeah, feminism is a great thing. I think it's like having, for me, it's like just gives me confidence in myself, and it makes me feel like I want to fight for other girls and encourage them, and it makes me feel hopeful about the future. So I think it means something different to everybody, you know. I don't know how I would deal with that. I read this article the other day, and it was like a man in China sued his wife for producing ugly children, and he won. And the man that was writing about the article was like, I applaud him, he should have got given more compensation, because women are selling themselves to us at false with cosmetic surgery and makeup, and they should be showing like their ugly truth, so that if we want to pick them up for our children, then we know, like, I was like kind of laughing reading the article. I was like, I don't know whether to be like terrified or find this hilarious, you know what I mean? It's like, is that a real mentality? Like, I can't even, my brain I don't think can even understand someone's mentality. I just don't know how that can be real. Do you know what I mean? When someone's like, has homophobic views, I just don't get it. I'm like, why? So, do you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't really make any sense to me at all. So, I can't even, you know, if you hear like a fucked up story about why somebody did something or murdered somebody, or, you know, something awful, and you can maybe think, okay, well, obviously that's not good. It's not like saying that you understand it, but you can say, okay, well, this happened to them and in their childhood, or this is what happened with, like, it was a crime of passion, or there's like an explanation behind like a human reaction. And I can understand extremely passionate, sort of like, human beings can explode in really ugly, horrific ways sometimes, and I can understand it and process it. But when someone just hates gay people, I'm like, I just don't get it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why? Like, why do you hate gay people? And there's no real ever explanation or reason either. There's no what. It doesn't make any sense. So I just can't compute it. So I think I just don't deal with people like that. I try not to be around them, and if I meet them, I try not to get in a fight. It's really hard, but it's almost like there's no point in even. There's almost no point in conversing with someone that is so black and white about. Although I'm black and white about it, because I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. So there's no point arguing with me about it either. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Human beings are very weird, and I'd say try and fill your life with lovely ones rather than people that are not nice. And if you meet not nice ones, then just leave, just walk away, like, just walk away. But I think I have a responsibility as a musician and someone with a platform to actually address these issues. So if something, like for example, I went into the crowd the other night and some guy like groped me when I went in the crowd. And I was like, ugh, when it happened, and I was like, everyone, that man just groped me! And everyone like turned around and looked at him. And he was like, and I was like, gah, and like got out of the crowd. And then I went straight into the next song, and I was like, fuck. But I was like thinking the whole time about the thing, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do. And then I finished the song, and I was like, right, okay, I have to address this, I have to talk about this. I was like, this is not right, like, you can't just touch a woman, like, any way you want, whenever you feel like it. It's completely inappropriate. You can't just touch a man any way you want at any time, do you know what I mean? It's not like I don't mind going in the crowd and someone like accidentally grabs me or whatever. It's like, I don't mind being touched, but this someone intentionally went and touched me inappropriately, and I felt like I don't want other girls to see me ignore that, you know, and I don't want him to think that I ignored it. So I wanted him next time to think, I'm not going to do that, even if it was just because he got so embarrassed because I called him up on it. Or I want a girl to think, next time someone does something that makes me uncomfortable, I'm going to say it. So yeah, I'm going off on tangents. I think it's really hard. It is really hard to be a confident person, because you almost have to trick yourself into being one. Because I have so many days when I feel rubbish and I'm insecure, and even times when I'm like, I don't want to get up on stage, I don't want to be looked at, I'm like, I don't want people to take photos of me and it be on the internet, I feel really ugly, I hate myself, and like, you almost, when I have days like that, I look in the mirror once to like do what I need to do, and then I'm like, I'm not looking in the mirror again. And I just leave it, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not going to judge myself today. And that sounds so like, I'm not going to, but it's true, you have to say, okay, I'm not going to judge myself, I'm not going to think about it, and try and distract yourself with like, hanging out with your friends instead of thinking about yourself, and try and realise that it is all like just it's very like self-obsessed, like we obsess over ourselves, and when we look and it's like, you don't want to be that person, you know, you want to be someone who has an enjoyable life. So like spend time with people that make you feel good people, good friends, good lovers, like whoever you have in your life, if they're good for you, like that's the most important thing. Don't have people that are nasty to you around you. It's taken me such a long time to really put that into practice in my life. Like I've allowed people to like abuse me, to like treat me really badly, and like, you know, make me feel terrible on a daily basis. And I've got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm 25 now, I don't want that kind of person around me, and I've cut them out. And I think if there's people that you know aren't good for you. I'm reading this book at the minute by Dawn O. Porter. She's got a new book out, it's so good. It's called Paper Aeroplanes, and it's about these two schoolgirls growing up in their friendship. And one of the girls has another friend, and she's horrible. She's so horrible to her, and always puts her down and makes her feel really bad. And it's just really reminded me of that, because you do always have someone who you don't even know why they're still your friend. You call them your friend, but they're not. But it's like I've known him since I was 3, so that's why I allow him to walk all over me and tell me that I'm really ugly and make me feel awful, embarrass me in front of people, and you know, just don't hang out with them anymore. Find comfort in music and movies. If you can pick someone, if you don't feel good about yourself, someone's like, pick someone that you like really want to be, that you think is really cool and awesome, and like think about them, like when you get up in the morning and think they wouldn't care about that. Like I picked Third Degree Burns from the movie The Fabulous Saints, and I was like, she's so badass. I was like, I'm gonna be strong like her, like I'm gonna get through this. And I'm like, I always think of Debbie Harry as well. I'm like, I bet Debbie Harry has gone through this and she's fine. And like, you know, anytime you're feeling really bad, like just think about that person and think they wouldn't judge me in that way, and B, they wouldn't have time to even judge themselves in that way, because they're like strong, confident, and they've got things to do. Distract yourself with a creative project, and once you start achieving things, it's like what we were just talking about. Okay, Fiddler. I really like Fiddler. What have I been listening to? Peach Kelly Pop, who's coming to tour with me in the West Coast in a few days, and I really like her stuff. And Bleach, new album, I really like that as well. So I've been listening to that, and Watsky's new record I've been listening to on tour. I'm trying to think of anything else new. I think that's quite good though, it's 3 new ones, right? Hi, I'm Kate Nash, and I love aculturedlad.com.